Does he think you're special? Does he genuinely believe and tell you how unique you are? Research from Rutgers University shows that such incredible focus on one person is the result of elevated dopamine levels. The same chemical process helps us concentrate while studying or reading. A man will start noticing details that others usually overlook, from your facial expressions and laughter to the way you make tea. In his eyes, all your habits turn into cute little quirks. He stops comparing you to other women because, to him, you become incomparable. Dopamine is produced in anticipation of something: a first date, the feeling of novelty, your first trip together, waiting for marriage, children, and so on. Especially if the girl you was a little cold toward him, had doubts about whether you should even pursue things, or simply treated him more calmly and evenly. All of this provides a stimulus. So, what are the most obvious signs that a man is in love? And at the end, a small spoonful of bitterness. And one small but important insight: he thinks you're special. When a man is truly in love, physical intimacy stops being the only goal. According to a recent study, 64% of men in love disagree with the statement that intimacy is the most important part of a relationship. He finds it equally enjoyable to spend a passionate night with you, or simply lie next to you, watch a movie, or walk in the rain. Physical attraction doesn't disappear, but it is complemented by a deep desire to get to know your inner world, share his thoughts, and build emotional intimacy. You're exhausted from work. You come home completely drained and wearing stretched out sweatpants. Instead of getting upset about the lack of intimacy or hinting at it, he wraps you in a blanket, makes you some tea, and listens with genuine interest for an hour and a half as you tell him about your difficult day. You're constantly on his mind. He simply can't stop thinking about you. He sends you messages, sometimes even too often. He looks for any excuse to meet and spend time with you. He strives to experience that same chemical rush again and again that arises in your presence. You'll receive little messages from him throughout the day: a funny meme, a good morning wish, or a question about how the important negotiations went. Even when he's very busy at work, he'll find a minute to let you know he's thinking about you, because you're becoming part of his background thoughts. He focuses on your strengths. A man in love focuses on your strengths and is practically blind to minor flaws or whims. In psychology, this is called the halo effect. If you're late for a date or burn dinner, a man in love responds with understanding and humor rather than irritation. At this stage, his brain literally makes him see only the best in you, smoothing over any rough edges. You decided to cook dinner for him, but the pie burned and the sauce turned out too salty. Instead of making a critical remark, he eats his portion, compliments the crispy crust, and suggests ordering pizza together, genuinely laughing at the situation. His behavior becomes a little unpredictable. Love leads to emotional and physiological instability. A man may soar with happiness and energy one moment, then look completely exhausted the next. This entire cocktail of hormones pulls him in different directions. Don't be alarmed if you notice some nervousness or sudden mood swings in him. When a man falls in love, he loses his usual sense of control over the situation and feels vulnerable. Hormonal ups and downs, from euphoria to anxiety over "is this mutual?" throw him off balance, which sometimes manifests as unusual or disjointed behavior. At one meeting, he may be incredibly eloquent, confident, and bursting with ideas, while at the next, he suddenly starts to stutter slightly, drops his keys, or falls thoughtfully silent, drifting out of the conversation because his emotions overwhelm him. You become his top priority. Subconsciously or consciously, people always prioritize those they truly love and want to spend time with. If he has to choose between a casual get-together with friends and helping you move or taking care of you when you're sick, he will choose you without hesitation. He rearranges his schedule so that there is always room for you, and he never leaves you in the dark about his plans. His friends invite him to an impromptu football match, but you had planned to have dinner together that evening. He will either turn down the match without regret or agree with you in advance to reschedule, but he will never cancel your plans at the last minute just for entertainment. He wants an exclusive relationship. When a man is in love, he won't want to take the risk of leaving her on the market. It's important to him to know that you're only with him, and he understands perfectly well that this requires an exclusive, serious relationship. He initiates the conversation about the status of your relationship, deletes dating apps, and makes it clear to those around him that his heart is taken. A man in love wants to claim his place and remove all potential competitors from your field of vision. He may say or hint, "I don't want to look for anyone else anymore," or "I'm coming to you, and I don't need anything else at all." He tells you directly about his feelings. It can be difficult to trust, especially if you've been hurt in the past. But if a man opens up, shows vulnerability, and tells you that he loves you, sometimes you simply have to take a step toward him and believe him. A declaration of love is a huge step for most men, one that comes with the risk of rejection. If he finds the courage to say those words out loud and backs them up with his actions, it speaks to an exceptionally high level of trust and a willingness to openly move into the future with you. On a completely ordinary, quiet evening, without alcohol, a special occasion, or any grand gestures, he falls silent and says those 3 words. Your feelings are mutual. True love cannot exist without reciprocity. If you make it clear that you don't love him, but he continues expressing his feelings for months or years, that's not love. It's obsession. The same works in reverse. If you love a man and he doesn't love you, it's not love. True love is always a mutual process. If there is no response, don't waste your time. Move on. Healthy relationships are a two-way street where both partners invest emotional resources. When love is mutual, it creates a synergistic effect. Both partners feel confident, safe, and inspired, rather than drained by an unrequited struggle for attention. He becomes emotionally dependent on you. He begins to confide his worries in you, seek your support, and become increasingly emotionally attached. A man begins to take off his usual protective armor and show you his weaknesses, doubts, and fears. Your opinion becomes decisive for him, while your praise or support can dramatically change his mood and restore his confidence. Faced with a difficult decision at work, he comes specifically to you. It's important to me to know what you think about this. Your opinion means more to me than anyone else's. And after receiving your praise, he literally feels like he has wings. A spoonful of bitterness. For a person to remain in such a state of being in love, they need a constant stimulus, reinforcement, and a sense of novelty, which cannot last forever. Sooner or later, a person gets used to having you around, and the anticipation and excitement disappear. And then the person loses interest. The level of the hormone of being in love decreases. Remember that feeling when you were choosing yourself a brand new phone? You were full of anticipation. And then you made your choice. You ordered it online, and tomorrow morning you can already go and pick it up. The dopamine peak will come in the evening and in the morning before the trip. It can be so high that it will be difficult to fall asleep. And in the morning, you'll want to get up early so you can arrive when the store opens. And then you pick up your brand new iPhone. And for the first 2 weeks, you don't let it out of your hands. And what happens next? A month, 2 months, you get used to having it. And then the phone gets tossed onto the nightstand from any distance. You got what you wanted. And there is no longer a stimulus for producing the anticipation hormone. So your interest in the phone disappears. It's the same with a person. A person wants to want. But just try giving them what they want, and you'll see what happens. BUT most likely. If you're reading this article and trying to figure things out, your situation is most likely not one of these cases. Write YES in the comments if that's true. And don't be upset, subscribe to the channel, and I'll gradually reveal more about this topic. Share your own situation in the comments, or your guess about your boyfriend if I like your comment. It means I 100% agree.